All right, here we are, Impact and Influence Radio right here on iHeart. Today's broadcast is brought to you by Blinds of Sacramento, Sacramento's complete solution window covering experts. Give these guys a call, 916-790-8689 or blindsofsacramento.com. Now, today we have a very, 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 very special show. And this is the power of social media. Let me tell you, this is the power of social media. I'm sitting on Instagram, and all of a sudden, Sublime music starts playing. And I go, now we're talking. And then I realize it's a tribute band. And then I think about it, and I go, these guys are really good. So then I send a message, and I find out that they're local. And I'm like, these guys, I mean, seriously, these guys are onto something. So Garden Groove, how you guys doing?
Oh, doing great. How about you?
I'm doing
Great.
good. I'm doing good.
Awesome.
How did this become? Where did you guys realize that you literally sound like Sublime? Like, I mean, legitimately like Sublime. And while you're telling me this story, I'm going to pull up some of your stuff so people can actually hear what I'm talking about.
I think it was a lot of kind of my influence that would kind of led us down this tribute path, but also we, as an original group before this project, we were playing a couple Sublime songs, Bad Fish and Santeria, and we just started getting feedback from people like, hey, you know, you guys sound pretty close and this, that, and the other, and we're like, well, we just kind of thought maybe we should give it a real try, and yeah, that's kind of like the origin of that.
Have you seen the Linkin Park tribute band out of Brazil called Hybrid Theory?
No.
Okay.
I've heard of it.
You guys need to, because these guys are playing like big like festivals and stuff. I mean, they're probably booking for like 10,000 a night, like without exaggerating. And full stage show. Mike Shinoda literally looks like Mike Shinoda, and Chester literally looks like Chester. And in English, they don't even speak English, but then you listen to them and you never know. And so I really see you guys, and my understanding is you have some sort of management or an agency that you're working with.
Yeah, we're working with Mason Entertainment, and they've been great, and you know we're learning as we go, and yeah.
But getting you in front of the right audiences, you guys could really take this thing places, like legitimately. I've been in the industry a long time, 30 years now. I've been in entertainment business. You guys really have a shot. If you guys can stick together and work through the challenges that are going to arise as you move through, and the other side of it is get Sublime's blessing. You'd be surprised how far you can take this thing. We worked with a band called Skynyrd Leonard, which was the Leonard Skynyrd tribute band, and you know they were always so worried about the trademark. And once they got the blessing from the surviving members of the band, everything changed. You know. So all right. So what I want to do is let's put on. And that's you.
Yes, sir.
I don't know how the hell you guys sound so authentic to the band. You're not even in the right generation. Like,
Not even called. Thanks to Stuart.
Well, I grew up listening to Sublime, and so that's a big part of it. And then these guys just learning the songs really down to a T, and they play the parts so well that's a really big part of it too.
I think that there's a very hidden element here that most people would miss. And that hidden element is the fact that you're playing the right guitar.
Yeah, almost. Very close.
It's damn close. Very
close.
What is that? It's an S470 Ibanez with the Floyd Rose. I'm assuming you've locked the Floyd Rose.
Yes.
And I'm a guitar player.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, you're probably the first person I've talked to about this.
But that is probably the most accurate. Now, in terms of amp, I think Brad, he used a Mesa, didn't he?
A triple rectifier, which I went out and bought one in the same era. It's like a late 90s era. It's a dual channel triple rectifier, and it sounds fantastic. But then I came across the technology called the nano cortex, and the sampling technology for the price point is just
Way
too
better.
good to pass up.
Yeah.
And the practicality of it, it's just a little box,
Yeah.
as opposed to this big tube amp that I have to worry about the tubes and all that.
I play Satriani, so that's the stuff that I play. And so you've got to have the right guitar and you got to have the right stuff. But what's nice now is you don't have to go and buy the big, JCM 2000s and lug 1960As around. You can just run floorboards and download everything into the floorboard and it's done.
It'll never be as good, but it does
pretty
it's
damn
pretty
close.
close. It
It's-
does the job.
Yeah.
so,
And it gets better every year too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is the hands. The hands is always what's going to set you back from from giving the authenticity of the band is the hands. The instruments and the music and everything, that's going to do what it's going to do. But can you do you have the right muscle structure to capture what they were capturing? And so another question that I had for you is, when Brad does his Spanish, did you have to learn Spanish for all of that and actually understand what he was saying and how he was saying it and phrasing it?
I can't understand a lick of the Spanish lyrics, but it's just a matter of memorizing his tonality and the way he sings it.
Yeah.
That's the way I learned it. And Cody helped me out with a little Spanglish kind of version to help me kind of sound out the everything more properly. So, but other than that, I don't honestly know what he's saying. If I would have to look it up, but it's just Do
you know the story, the origin of the Spanish and why he is singing Spanish in his music?
No, other than just being around it and just growing up with it. Really,
So
that's all I know. Really.
His father lived in the Gulf or the Caribbean or something or another, and he was having some problems at home. And so he went to go live with his father for a while, and he was around it. And I think his dad spoke it, if I remember correctly. And so, it comes back to his childhood and those types of things.
Okay.
And then the other piece is that the guitar that Ibanez, is that the guitar that he got on April 29th, 1992 during the riot,
It could have been.
because he talks about it,
Yeah.
and I don't know if any of that's I'm not going to say that it's true, but I'm not going to say it's not true.
No, from what I've noticed, that guitar seemed to be just a common guitar that he would regularly play through a triple rectifier, and then later he had that custom guitar with a whole bunch of routing things at the very tail end of it, and the I believe the neck was a Fender, and then it was a Frankenstein guitar.
Yes.
And
that was the one from Good God, the album. I almost want to say there was an album called Bad Fish or something, wasn't there? It was the one with all the graffiti on the cover. It was I think it was a live album.
Oh, okay.
And I think that was the guitar that he played during that. Yeah,
that performance.
Yeah, because this is all before. See, Sublime's career was like 5 minutes long. And that's when you're looking at Jimi Hendrix, it was like that. You're looking, the great musicians, their career was very, very small. And so when they did Santeria, he passed away. It was like 10 months later or something along those lines when they got famous, so to speak.
Right.
It was a very, very short career. Yeah, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're up and coming definitely, but like once he passed, it was just shot up, and he never got to experience all this, from the album release.
No,
Crazy to think about.
It's very sad.
Yeah. And then, of course, we a lot of us, some of us know the story about what happened and Lou Dog and all that stuff. But see, I grew up when I was in high school in the 90s. My girlfriend, which is actually, this is a funny story, so my girlfriend, I'm going to give her some airtime, Helen. She was, my high school sweetheart. And, when your high school sweetheart, your relationships last like months, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because high school feels so long,
Yeah.
you know? And so I think we were together like 6 months, but we were friends before and we were friends after. And we'd been friends. I guess you can still say we're still friends, but we haven't talked in 10 years. But long story short, when we do run into each other, it's very warm. I mean, she's got her life. She's got her husband and her kids and her family and her career and a whole bit, you know? And so what happened was after I found your band, the first thing I did is I looked her up under her new married name and the whole bit. I sent her a message on Instagram. You got to check these guys out. And I never heard back. So I'm assuming that it just went into her spam filter because it never even said read. You know, it just went into her spam filter and it just got filtered through life, you know. And so if there's ever a point that she responds, I'm probably going to send you to her house to play for her birthday or something.
Okay,
But she was like the biggest Sublime fan I've ever met in my entire life. Like she lived and breathed this band. And so everything that I know of Sublime came from just the conversations we had in high school. And just, I mean, she was just an encyclopedia of this stuff. And so over the years, you know, now I'm married, it's my wife, you know, over the years, you know, those high school experiences you take with you and that music kind of grows with you and it becomes a part of you. And so, you know, again, hearing you guys play, it just kind of brought me back. It made me feel young again in a sense. And, you know, I was telling my wife, I was like, I used to listen to this music with my black lights and my stars on the ceiling, you know, and just, you know, and black light posters, that kind of stuff, you know. It's kind of cool to see you guys this, and I'm assuming you're a little younger than me, but you know, this new generation just loving the music and bringing that music to life.
Yeah. There's the power of music. It can transport you, through time. You know, take you to memories that, like, every time I listen to a Sublime song, you know, a very specific, like Roots of Creation or something, I can like picture myself in a memory at a point in time, you know, surrounded by friends or family or, you know, doing like whatever.
So are you guys in your 20s, 30s? Where are you at in life?
I'm 31.
Yeah, we're in our 30s. Well,
Okay.
just started our 30s.
Awesome. That is just so cool, dude. I'm completely in awe of you guys. I really am. All right. So talk to me about where you're taking this project. I mean, do you have every intention of taking this to larger stages?
Absolutely.
Oh, definitely. We want to play like stadiums and like we're going all in on it, you know.
Yeah, we want to play everywhere.
Yeah, we meet up like, you know, 2-3 times a week. We always have talks like, you know, because it is a business at the end of the day. You
100%.
And basically, we want to take it as far as we can go. You know, we're pretty motivated, and we're looking to play all over. Yeah, we just got another gig in San Diego. We haven't been out there.
That's going to do well for you because that's their stomping ground, close to their stomping ground.
Yeah.
Near,
And then we're seeing if we can get on Long Beach. Day after, so we're figuring out a bunch of routes, but we're definitely excited.
That would do well for you.
Yeah,
that would do really, really well for you. Now, what was the song that they had with Gwen Stefani?
Saw Red.
Yeah.
How are you? How are you handling that?
he just sings the whole.
You just do the whole
sing
thing.
the whole
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
But
The way they would usually play it as a 3-piece, just with however Bradley did it.
But who knows if we play with like a No Doubt, you know, tribute band or something.
There is one.
Yeah.
There is one.
Yeah.
Couple really good ones. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just really interesting, dude. That's really okay. So let me ask you this: have you guys thought about doing any of the television shows? The America's Got Talent
we
and all
never
that?
thought about.
Yeah, 21st is the final for video auditions.
Oh yeah, well we can get something.
I would
cooking
do
for
it.
that.
I
Yeah.
would do
No,
it because you
definitely.
guys really do have something that I wouldn't spend the money to have you guys in my publication if I didn't truly believe in what you guys were doing. I really think that you've got a shot at this. I don't offer this to everybody. I had to go to my team and say, "Look, I found this band." and I'm gonna put them in the magazine, and they're like, "What?" And then I'm gonna bring them on the show, and they're like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, they're really good. I had to like convince the team that you guys were worthy enough to be in the public, because that's money. Like I'm pulling money out of the company's pocket for this.
Hey man, we appreciate the shot.
we appreciate
man.
it.
100%.
I mean, it is
Thank you
mine.
very
I
much.
did have to pull out it is my magazine, so I can do whatever the hell I want to do. But
Well, if you can't do that, then
they were questioning my sanity for a few minutes there, and then I sent them the stuff, and they're like, "These guys are actually really good." And I'm like, "Yes, exactly. I think there's something here."
And we're local. Yeah.
Well, he goes. So Frank goes. So what are we going to get in return? And I was like, well, my thought is we get them on stage with the magazine, and they present the magazine on stage, and they open it up to their thing, and they put a video on social media. And he goes, I think that's worth it. And I was like, okay, we'll do that. So,
Yeah,
it'll be cool.
I'll definitely do
Yeah,
that. We'll be happy to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was just like, oh man, yeah, I'd eat some crow for that one. But no, I really think you guys are doing stuff. But I think the America's Got Talent, I think that could be really good for you guys. I really do.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, we'll
believe
check
me,
it out.
We'll definitely submit for it. Like if we can't make the live, and I'm sure they have so many auditions, but like even a video submission for like the time frame,
They'll respond. They'll respond.
Oh,
no,
we'll reach out
we
for
had
sure.
a client that had
Probably today.
invented a product. Yeah, no, seriously, we had a client that invented a product, and we had the same kind of discussion. I was like, dude, you need to go to Shark Tank. Take this thing to Shark
Oh
Tank.
yeah, huh.
We got on Shark Tank,
Oh,
and then
nice.
they sold to Mark Cuban, and I was like, hell
Wow.
yeah, I was a part of that.
That's really cool.
I got an IMDb credit for that. Like, woohoo!
Yeah,
Like I
that's
wasn't
cool.
there. I wasn't down in LA, but the people that when we shot the video for them and we submitted everything, yeah, it was cool.
That is awesome.
Yeah, so you never know. We did we had a guy come through and he started here, and then Good Day I think called him, and then CBS News called him, and then Steve Harvey called him from CBS News. We've had a few of those stories over the years. So you have to do it, dude. You have to do it. And you never know. You just never know where it's going to take you,
Yeah.
You just never know. That's all life is, dude. That's all life is. It's just
Yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah, like I made like a giant fat to-do list, and every like practice we printed it out and we have our computers, and I was like, okay, so you take care of that, and we're like, delegating it all so that, that
Okay.
way we can maximize like on our time and being efficient every time we get together. Then, because when we first started jamming the Sublime songs, all we wanted to do was just sound exactly like it, the best we can.
Yeah.
And then now we're like, all right, now we got the product, we got our rehearsal in, and now we're just trying to, get it out there. So that's basically where we're at right now.
I really think that you just have to stay in the grind, and it's a grind. I did it. My career started in '96, writing and playing the Satriani stuff, and then when I turned 18, I went out on the road and I played solo for 4 years by myself, doing instrumental karaoke basically to Satriani, just playing every venue I could. I got on some big stages,
You do
some
like
small
hard rock and
stages.
stuff?
His playing, you have to create those muscles. You have to, you have to be able to emulate why his hands are doing that, why his arms are able to. I could never play that. I couldn't do that because I don't have the structure, the muscles of years and years and years. I mean, that's like decades of muscle memory in order to do that. And I think that's one of the things that's so impressive is that you're able to do those things. And then the tonality in your voice and the cadence and the structure and being able to carry the band, and then the rest of the band not sounding like a different band playing to Sublime, that you brought it all together, I think is really what makes this thing just that dynamic that is very special.
Well, thank you very much, man. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, we're trying hard out here. We can tell you that much.
Is it really a challenge getting up there and doing that?
Well, yeah, I mean, every time it is, but I mean, that's part of the fun, though. So, I mean, otherwise we probably wouldn't do it.
Do you feel like when you get up there, do you feel like you're just completely shit in the bed, or do you feel like you're actually
All the time. Yeah. all the
What was
time.
the most challenging song, Stu? Or was like Same in the End?
Same in the End is a tough song. Just depending on how the set list is set up, sometimes there can be some lulls where it's just, fatigue hits me harder than other times, depending on the set
That's why I always do. I'll start with a semi-fast song that I've played a million times. That if I screw up, nobody would ever know because I can just jack off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can just cover it with whatever.
Yeah.
And then like that one that I was showing you, like no matter what I play, it's gonna sound like that song, right? And so I play it so different than the way Joe plays it, just because it's the song where I'm getting my hands warmed up.
Right.
And then I'll go into a slow song. And that way I can start to work on the dexterity and start to build the mood. And then I go back into the next faster song, which then allows me, and then I'll go into a really fast song. And then coming out of that fast song, I go back into a slow song to let my hands rest.
Yeah.
And so I'm assuming you guys are doing something similar.
Set list design is incredibly important for the longevity of just your own instruments and your fingers or your voice and like you said, warming up. There's certain songs that are just easier to start with, and other songs like Same in the End, we would probably not start a set with that song just because it's a hard starting song. So.
What do you usually start with?
Our
What's your go-to?
main song is 5446 into Ball and Chain. That's usually like our go-to one. We've started with DJs before. I don't know, Garden Groove sometimes. We'll start with that one because it's a nice intro.
Garden Grove.
Garden Grove, yeah.
You guys do
We've messed that up quite a bit ever since having the name.
It's okay. Do you guys do Pawn Shop?
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's my favorite, all-time favorite.
Oh yeah.
It was one of the very first songs I learned how to play on the guitar. It's where I learned how to bend a note, actually.
Nice.
That one's cool.
That was the first time I learned how to do that. I was like, oh, that's cool.
It's a good one to
Yeah.
start out.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Has a nice slow bend too. Like you can really feel it.
Yeah, nice, good
And you get a
repetitive thing.
pinch harmonic in there. I learned in my
Mhm.
pinch harmonics from
Right?
that song.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
As a kid, I actually thought I invented the pinch harmonic. I was like, "Oh, look at this!" My guitar teacher. And he's like, "Oh, that's just a pinch harmonic." I'm like, "Oh,
yeah.
yeah." I always think about
That's the
that.
thing about discovery and musical instruments,
Yeah, it was cool for a moment. No, it was still cool that
when
I figured
picked
it out.
the
on my
guitar
own.
up for the first time, it was an acoustic guitar. It's kind of a funny story, but so I'm out skateboarding down in Monterey, and I come across these two guys. Shout out to Gabriel Aguilar, wherever the hell you are in life, and I want to say they were in their 20s, and I was 14, just a kid skateboarding, and so we go back to his garage, which, when you think about it in today's crazy world, that probably wouldn't be a very smart idea. But back then, everyone just came together and smoked weed. It's just what you did. You skateboard, smoke weed. I never did the smoking weed, though. I played the guitar. But I run into these guys, and they introduced me to the guitar. And it was so funny because, I'm there playing guitar, or watching them play guitar like all day long, right? And we're skateboarding in their little cul-de-sac. It's Monterey. It's the beach, And they're smoking weed like all day long. And then after smoking weed all day long, it was getting dark, and we were like a mile or so from the house, so he would drive me home. Again, in today's world, that stuff is not smart to do. But back, 30 years ago, it was not that big of a deal. So he drives me home, and he introduces me to Steve Vai. And Steve Vai, Satriani, Eric Johnson, G396 on cassette. And that was when I fell in love with the bald guy with the glasses, and that was Joe Satriani, and in my, he was like the Steve Vai and I was the Satriani, and we would play guitar to each other on the phone, and again, very weird for a teenager to be talking to a mid-20s man and on the phone for hours playing the guitar with each other. Very, very bizarre now that I think about it at this stage in life, but okay.
It was the time.
It was the
the time
times,
of the
right?
time.
It was
Yeah.
the times. Like, you
Yeah.
can do that stuff. Then now he's a pedophile. No, it was just really cool. And he introduced me to the music, and he played an Ibanez RG, and I'll never forget it. And I'll never forget the color of it. And I'll never forget the color of his car. And it's just really cool stuff. Our childhood, right? And so I remember going back home that night. I'd never played guitar, and my mom had an old Epiphone acoustic in the closet that had like rusted strings, and it was just like really awful. And the only guitar music I had was a Jewel. Like, and probably
yeah.
why I'm still today like a huge Jewel fan. My wife says it sounds like a dying bag of cats, and
man.
I love Jewel music. I think it's amazing, and so I put on Jewel, and I'm listening to these songs. And I didn't know how to play a chord. And if you've ever tried to play a chord and you've never played a chord before on an Epiphone acoustic, which is not a great playing guitar to begin with, and then it has rusted strings, is really like you're in for some serious blisters on your hands.
Right.
So
Talking about like an inch of action.
I was gonna say
the
the
string
really,
sitting
yes.
off of the.
Not only that, I remember the nut had like paper underneath it because it had fret buzz, so they had to raise the strings.
Nice.
So they put paper. I mean, this guitar was just dirt garbage, right? But I remember like, and this is probably going to resonate with you guys, like you're finger picking. And like you can only hit like one note at a time because you don't know any chords. So when you're finger picking, you're like starting to pick and create sounds. What you were talking about with your students, and so yeah, you just start to create noises and create things, and that's where Sublime came in, and it was like the first things I ever learned was like the lead parts on the Sublime songs.
That's cool.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then here you guys are. I think it's just super cool, man. Super cool. Okay, enough of my stories.
That's awesome.
Before we get out of here, you got some shows coming up. Talk to me about some of these shows. Where you're going to be playing? How do people get tickets? How do they come out and see you?
My phone's dead, or I turned it
When
off.
we turned our phones
Yeah,
off.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no. We wanted to be respectful. Now we're like, oh shoot.
Well, let's see.
Just go on the website.
The website? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know you guys are playing at Crawdads right here.
Yeah.
We are playing there. We're going to be playing in the Yuma County Fair in Arizona.
Yeah, so March 31st, we're playing in Yuma County,
Okay.
Yuma, Arizona. April 1st, we're in San Diego at the Holding Company.
Okay.
April 25th, we're back in Folsom with the 3rd annual Friends of Folsom Festival. May 16th, Folsom again, Crawdads on the Lake. June 25th, Roseville live at Placer County Fair. And
Okay.
then September 7th, back in Arizona in Flagstaff for another fair.
Good for you guys. I'm so happy for you. Okay, the offer stands. Whatever you need from me, you just let me know. Okay? Whatever you need. You need shout outs, you need airtime, you need promotion, whatever you need from me. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. Okay?
Thank you.
So, you've got a friend in the business. If you guys need to get on the mic, then we get you scheduled and we figure it out. If you guys need a shout out, you have a show coming up, just get me those details. I can make sure to put it on whatever our next episode is. Magazine stuff. Again, you want to go out there and help promote the magazine and get eyeballs in front of it. We'll do the same for you
Yeah,
guys.
we'd be happy to do it.
Okay.
absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Thank you again for having us.
Absolutely,
yeah.
dude. I think you guys
We're
are
not
great.
live anymore. right?
No, we're
Oh,
still
okay.
recording.
Oh, okay.
We're wrapping up.
No.
You ruined it, man.
You ruined the moment.
No,
it's okay.
here's what I like about what we're doing here is, when we were on FM radio, you had like all these rules. Like there's things you could say, couldn't talk about. You had time restrictions, commercial break, the producer behind the glass giving me a million things, somebody talking in my ear. It was all this stuff. And so now with iHeart on digital, we just whatever. Who cares? And people are going to listen or they're not going to listen. And odds are they're going to listen because you're going to send the link to everybody and just do your thing. And they're going to learn about what you're doing. They're going to learn about what we're doing. And in this business, in the entertainment industry, it's not what you know, it's who you know. You can know everything, not know anybody, and you're never going to go anywhere. You have to build relationships and always check the ego at the door because that's going to be your biggest issue. And that was my problem. Is I walked in, as soon as I started to see success, my ego went through the roof, and it cost me more jobs than I got. So, at this stage, just
Words of wisdom, for
dude,
sure.
just enjoy it, enjoy the ride, have fun, build those relationships, get out there, put on a freaking hell of a show, stay off the wacky tobacco, as they called it, and no, seriously, stay away from, it's okay to have a vice. And that was the other thing is like when I got my first manager, my manager was the road manager for Tower of Power and Edgar
awesome.
Winter and all that stuff. I mean,
yeah.
he was a legitimate guy, and he can get me on some really, really cool stages. And I remember I'm playing at Caesars Lake Tahoe, and And he goes, so what's your vice? Big heavy set guy with the cigar. I mean, if you could ever
classic
basic 70s, 80s road manager, just exactly what it was. It was hilarious. Drove a big Dodge truck that was like a total piece of junk. Just is what it is.
Yeah.
And so, he goes, hey kid, so what's your vice? And I'm like, what do you mean? What's my vice? I didn't even know what the hell this meant. What's your vice? He goes, do you smoke? No. Do you drink? No. Do you do drugs? No. He goes, well, everyone has a vice. What's your vice? And so I was up in Lake Tahoe, and the Reno girlfriend and the Tahoe girlfriend showed up to this venue. And his job was to keep the two separate. And they could not know about who they were. Now, my Sacramento girlfriend was at home. And
oh no.
And there was this, I mean, absolutely gorgeous at the time. Gorgeous, the tan, the tattoos, the whole thing, dancing on this pole that wasn't even a pole. It was just a pole that held the frame up.
Yeah.
And so she's dancing on this pole because she's completely shit-faced. And I tell him, I want to go home with her. So keep them separate, get them out of here. And then he goes, now I know what your vice is. So the point of the story is, as you continue to grow and get out there, you're going to be presented with a lot of really cool stuff that you haven't experienced. Just be smart. All right. Don't just be smart, because we already know what happened to Sublime, and just, the business mindset, stay off the junk, and have for the freaking time of your life, and see how far you can take this thing without killing yourselves, because it's a tough business, man.
Yeah.
30 years, I've seen it all. And so whatever you need from me, you've got me. Okay?
No, I appreciate that. And we are definitely learning as we go,
Yeah.
We've been a band, like not like this band, but we've been playing together for 8 to 10 years, and we've heard from somebody that the worst thing is that happens to band is they just break up. They don't stay together.
Yeah, it gets tough. It gets tough for them.
So that's why we're very open with each other. Like especially when we were like creating music, but like, hey, I don't like that. Like it just, we're none of us have like, no, it's my way or the highway, or you're walking on thin.
Happens.
Yeah. We don't have to walk around like on thin.
My whole thing with bands, and the reason why I've been in bands, I've built bands. But my whole thing was the control freak thing, and so even Matt, Matt's my right hand man with all the digital media and all this stuff, and Frank's my right hand man with the magazine. I've got different people now. Ironically, I learned how to handle people through The Sopranos, believe it or not, and just how to have the right people handle certain things, and probably why we do mafia movies, right? But the point is. I've run into this with Matt where I become almost like impossible to work with, because I have certain things that I want, certain expectations, I want things to a certain standard, and Matt's way more carefree, and he's really calmed me down a lot. He's turned me into a different person. And Matt's probably one of the most patient people I've ever met in my life. He's just an amazing, amazing human being. And you've got to make sure that your team, the people that you have closest to you, can understand you and relate to you in your best and your worst moments. And so there was a band that I worked with that a good friend of mine for years and years and years and years and years. He was doing other bands, but he was not a great musician. And he was even a worse businessman. But he knew how to connect with people, and he would get on the best stages. And then he'd go on the best stages and he'd fuck up the show. He would forget how the song started. He'd hit the wrong notes. He'd show up late. I didn't change the string I broke a string in the last show, and you're getting on stage and you're fucking missing a string. I mean, just stuff that is unacceptable. And I would lose it, because my career started by playing Satriani, which means you have to have 6 strings. The guitar has to be right. You have to have 2 to 3 guitars just in case, because you can't finish a Satriani show with 1 guitar with 5 strings on it. Everything has to be perfection. It's that. And so with my career, with my music, with my movies, everything is about details. And so now the team that I have today is everybody knows what I'm going to put up with and what I'm not going to put up with. And I have a certain level of expectation of them. They need to show up dressed a certain way. They need to show up at a certain time. They need to show up, or I'm going to come down on them. And I come down on them a little bit less than I used to. I used to scream at people. Now I'm just like, fix your tag, and, make sure you have a coat on when you come to work, that kind of stuff. And so just with you guys, I don't know how you guys work. I don't know what the energy level is like and when you guys are practicing or backstage or whatever. Just make sure that you guys are always there for each other and you understand each other and you work through whatever those problems are because again, the moment that you change that dynamic, it's never going to be the same. And you're going to sit back in 20 years and you're going to go, man, all I had to do was this, and we'd still have this thing. And that's the big
Yeah, I
piece.
never want to look back and be like, we should have. I think what we try and do is like set goals. Like, what do we want to do next? And like before we meet up, we talk about what we're doing for the next rehearsal, or like just get like a plan. And we're on we use Google Calendar a lot, and because if you don't, then we're just a garage band, which is okay if we want to jam.
Metallica's still a garage band.
But if we want to play or take it further, we have to have these important talks and what's going on in our personal life.
Yeah.
But we're always
we're always sitting down and reevaluating what we want as a group together, and we're always kind of keeping ourselves in check. And my shortcoming is not necessarily his shortcoming, and we kind of balance each other out with that.
That's where Matt and I are at. You have to balance each other out. My strengths are his weaknesses. And what's actually happening now is I've over the years now have come down so hard on him on certain aspects that he's now getting really good at certain things. And it's allowed me to kind of get relaxed on other things. And now I'm like the more relaxed one and he's the more uptight one, which is actually kind of funny that we've almost reversed roles.
Right?
It's really cool. Yeah. Really cool. The other piece of advice before I get out of here, and this is terrible advice, but just think about it, is never count the money. Never look at it like, oh, well, I spent $500. You need to spend $500. We made this much money. I played this, I did this much. You didn't do as much. Never count the money. It should never, ever, ever, even with a business, should never be about the money. It's about the unit and everyone coming together. And that's the only reason Matt and I have worked out as long as we have and have done so much together and have such a wonderful relationship. I mean, we would die for each other, this man. And it's because of never counting the money. It'll always work out in the end. If you're selfless and if you're doing it for the right reasons, doing it for the greater of the project, as long as you're putting some money in your pocket, be happy. And as long as you guys are doing what you're doing because you love what you're doing, then it's going to do. The moment that it becomes about the money, you're out. And look at what's going on with Poison. Are you following Poison? Poison, who's the lead vocalist of Poison?
Brett Michaels.
Brett Michaels, yeah. He's all up in arms because he's the front man. He should be getting paid more than the rest of the band. And that's the problem, right? And you saw Van Halen dealt with all that stuff, and Motley Crue and all their drama. They've dealt with all that stuff. Never count the money. Just be a unit. 3 of you guys are married, okay? Be a unit and make sure that you're doing it for the right reasons. And it's not for you. This is all about Brad's legacy. This is about the music that he wrote and create and sell that. And that's the only reason why I still even have, I still do the Satriani things. It's not about me. The moment that I play my music, nobody gives 2 craps. The moment that I play Joe's music, people are listening. There's a reason. There's a magic behind that music. There's a reason why people have bought that music. And it's our jobs, the ones who are able, God gave us talents, the ones that are able to keep that legacy alive, it's our job to continue to spread that music. Okay? Okay.
Very nice.
Yeah.
And with that,
and with that, that's it. Garden Groove. What's your website address?
GardenGrooveTribute.com.
GardenGrooveTribute.com. Check these guys out. Unbelievable. And honestly, I feel like I've made 3 friends tonight. And Cody, you're going to be coming back. If we end up doing the 6th movie, we're gonna put you in it. You're going to play Ace.
Oh, I'm down. I'm down.
Please.
Because
Sounds good.
because
I would
we
love
had to
that
we had to
so
fly all the
much.
way to North Carolina to Charlotte to shoot Ace for the first movie. And then in the second movie, when we brought Ace back, we used stock footage that looked like Ace from behind, but we never got a face. And you look so much like him 5 years later that nobody would even know it's a different actor. That's
cool. It's
that's
meant to
super
be.
cool. Yeah. And we'll pay
Sounds
you a
great.
little bit to be there.
Oh
So,
yeah, whatever.
So cool,
It
cool.
just sounds like an experience. Give me. I've always thought about that kind of stuff, but I didn't really.
It's fun.
I
It's
put
fun.
more of my
This is,
energy.
you-
into,
this is your chance to get your foot in the door.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's
Even-
what we've done with these movies, though, is we put a casting call out for local actors that want to get into it, and then we'll hire a big star to be the. And so the last two films, we had Joseph Ganascoli from The Sopranos. He played Vito. He was in 39 episodes of The Sopranos. And so we bring him in. He just sends us a couple of clips that he shoots on his camera phone. We run it through AI, make it look all fancy and look like, good. And then we put him in a car and blow him up. And so he has 10 seconds of screen time, which cost us a fortune, but we can put his name on it. But
Yeah.
the point is we can bring these young actors that are showing up for their first casting call
Right.
and give them a start with a big star and get them
Yeah.
on IMDb and all that
Oh,
stuff.
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So,
Right
all right,
on.
guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you guys for being here. What are we at? 50 minutes. That's actually not bad. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.